Hello, internet. How's my volume? I'm sure someone will let me know in chat. I'm using a slightly different setup, a very different setup this time than what I usually do, because I'm trying to put the camera on my workbench, which I usually use my webcam and my screen capture when I'm broadcasting. So I don't actually have a camera that's optimal for this setup. I'm actually using my phone as a camera, and I'm running an app on my phone to do it turns it into a webcam basically. so so there you go. If you're watching the stream right now, you probably are noticing that it looks like the camera is out of focus. That's not focus, unfortunately. That's the app that's webcamming my camera to my desktop is just really soft. I don't know why. I tried to fix it and I can't. And for now, that's just going to be how it looks. So I apologize for that. Let me have my tablet up here where I'll be reading your comments. Let me try to just start addressing comments and questions and so forth while we're waiting to get started. Why LaForge instead of 2 pineapples or whatever? The answer to that is very simple. The answer is that I actually am going to be doing a sort of a shootout of all of these guys. LaForge. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get my hands on 2 pineapples, unfortunately. 2 pineapples is very hard to get a hold of. But I definitely I have a Furious FPV True D Diversity on the way. I would love to get like an Immersion RC Duo, an oldie but a goodie, and any other. I have a Clearview coming. Unfortunately, they won't let me keep it. It's a $600 product. I said, why don't you just do it as a loaner? So they're going to send me a loaner. But I want to do a shootout of these different things just because it's interesting and fun. And it just so happens that LaForge was the first one to land on my doorstep. So they get to be first. But I will be trying out definitely True D Diversity. I have that on the way. And Clearview is supposed to be on the way. So anyway, there you go. And then at the end, I will try to make a decision over like which one I like the best and which one, you know, what the pros and cons of each of them are and which one I'll be keeping in my goggles full time. And we'll see what that is. Certainly one of the advantages of the True D Diversity, the Furious FPV True D Diversity, and the 2 pineapples is that you don't have to do the surgery like I'm about to do the internal install. And yes, to whoever asked, yes, this is going to be an internal install because an external install is just you stick it in, you stick some tape on. How boring is that? That's no fun. So yeah. So I'll start to get started now. And I'll start by taking the headband off. I think you can handle that part. Yeah, no kidding. Plug the devices into charge. And we're going to take... Yeah, no, this is a V2 module with 1.7. So no problem there. Did I have to buy any of them? I haven't bought any of them. Nope, this was sent to me by UBAD. Thank you to Bruce Daly for sending this to me. And thank you to Furious FPV for sending me, at least I'm told they're sending me, the True D. And thank you to Clearview for loaning me the Clearview, but I'd thank you more if you gave it to me. But that's not really why I'm in it. What do I do? Oh, what did I do with the fan balance plug? Well, I'll show you. And in fact, you'll get to see very well when I open these goggles up. The fan balance plug, you can see I've got, this is just a balance port. And again, I really do apologize for this. I can see how soft this video is. It looks like my camera's out of focus, but it's not. It's just the way I'm using my cell phone to act like a webcam to let me get a shot of my workbench. And this, well, I won't be doing this again, but for now, this is the solution we've got. So yeah, so this is just a balance plug. And it's a spare balance plug. I just have some spares because I make the 18650 modules with the, you know, with the Fat Shark battery hack. So it's plugged in here, and then on the back end, and I'll give you a better look when we open the goggles up, it's just soldered to the positive and the ground part of the barrel jack. which if you know how a barrel jack looks, there's two prongs on the sides that are positive and or that are ground, and a pad on the back that's positive, and it's just soldered to that. So whenever I plug in, the balance lead gets power. And I can't take credit for that. I got that idea from someone on the internet. So I will be unplugging this so that when I pull this open, I don't know if you can see, but the yellow and red wire, there's plenty of extra wire in there. But just in case I snag something, I don't want to be pulling something. Yeah, it's a great mod. It's a great idea. It requires very little surgery. The only thing you have to do is you have to get a small hole here to pass the wire through, which I did with a soldering iron. I just melted a small hole, and there you go. It's really a pretty safe mod. It does limit me to 2S, Richard. You're absolutely right about that. If I really cared about that, I would put in a voltage regulator. I would find some place to tuck a voltage regulator, a 7-volt regulator or something. And some people even like to do a boost buck regulator so that if they're running 18650 cells, you can run those cells down to about 2.5 volts, some of them, at which point the Fat Shark goggles would already be beeping and beeping and beeping at you and hollering that your voltage was low. So some people will put a boost buck regulator in there. They'll run it at like 7 volts, 7.2 volts or something, and that means that if they run their 2S batteries down to 2.5 volts per cell, they don't get any warnings or alerts. On the other hand, you don't get any warnings or alerts if your batteries are about to die. So I just stick to 2S. I'm almost always running off my my headset battery, so it's not a big deal. Pitbull FBV, I will not be doing anything with the doors in this one because I'm going to be testing the LaForge and I'm going to be testing the Furious 2D and all those others. I won't be committing to a set of doors yet, so no word on that. So then I'm just going to pop this off. I have removed this screw, which I believe is all you need to do. And every time I do that, I'm sure I've broken the faceplate. Every time I pop it off like that, it goes crack, snap, and I'm sure I've broken it. But so far, I have not broken it yet. If you really want to have fun, you can put this over your face and you can pretend to be a superhero. No. All right, so the faceplate is off. Done. Yeah, that's a good point. I could always just unplug the balance lead. Well, that's very clever. Sure, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, what do people do if they're using a 3S ground station? Do they just not use the fan? I mean, I guess they don't. All right, so then we're going to take out these screws. 1, 2, and by the way, if I'm responding to your comments late, it's because there's a lot of delay here. There's delay on my encoding end with my silly webcam and so forth. Russell Myers, you cracked yours. Well, someday I'm going to crack mine, I'm sure, but so far I haven't. And if I do crack it, I suppose the faceplate is a small price to pay. I don't take it off that often. The good news is that LaForge is the only one that will put anything in the module bay, the other side module bay. So in theory, well, that's not coming out. In theory, I can just leave the LaForge diversity receiver in there while I test out all the other ones, and we'll see how it goes. What kind of impact does the fan have on the battery? Gosh, I mean, it's got to be completely minimal, right? That's a tiny fan. It's got to be totally minimal. It can't be anything significant. So, yeah, if you add the voltage regulator, you could certainly add a step down. If you're going to be running on 3S, a step down won't really matter because you'll never get to 7 volts before the battery's dead. So I've got I'm going to get so busy talking to you guys that I'm going to screw up and I'm going to forget something. So let's try not to do that. I've got the 3 screws out. This one doesn't want to come out, but it's loose. It's all the way out. It just doesn't want to actually come out. So now I should be able to separate the halves of the goggles. Yeah, I like the HDs. The field of view has taken some getting used to, the wider field of view, but I've gotten used to it. It's a little hard to get the alignment correct, to get the screen not blurry at the edges. I have a set of custom lenses on the way to my actual optical prescription that I hope will help with that. Right now I'm just using the -6 diopters. I don't think I have a head tracker in this one. I don't believe, does the Dom HD2 come with a head tracker module by default? I know the button is here. I'm not actually sure it has a head tracker. But anyway, we'll see. I have not tried the SE. I mean, the SE is apparently a similar field of view to the Dom HD2, but with a lower resolution screen, a 640 by 480 screen. So the Dom HD2 seems like just an upgrade to the SE. So there you go. So then there are clips here that you got to get undone. And the tricky part is you can kind of squeeze the bottom here and undo the clip. And again, I'm always worried I'm going to break them. But the tricky one is that there's a clip right here as well that you don't know is there. That is hard to get apart. This is not the first time I've opened these. I opened them to do the balance lead mod. And if it seems like I'm, yeah, so you can see the tabs right here, here, and here in the front. And if it seems like I'm going really slow here, it's because I don't want to damage my multi-$100 goggles, so bear with me. Okay, now I've got them separated. I applied a little pressure here. You see this clip right here? When I first took these apart, I didn't know about this one, and I could not for the frickin' life of me figure out why they would not come apart. And the thing that you want to do at that point is just start wrenching at it, and then you break something. But you just slowly feel around, squeeze every little part and see where it wants to come apart, and you'll find it. And now the two halves are separated. Yeah, exactly. You got to be real ginger. And I'm distracted because I'm on a live stream, but you just be real careful and just slowly apply pressure until it comes apart. And now the magic happens. Okay, so let's see what we got. We've got this module here, which I believe lifts straight out. It does. We've got my janky balance lead. We've got this wire here going to, this is the DVR module in the top. This must be the, is this the head tracker? I really honestly don't know. Yep, True D diversity plugs right in. That is certainly an advantage of that approach. That it certainly is. I just don't happen to have it. Number one, I don't have a True D on hand. And number two, I actually like taking things apart and hacking at them. So having to do this work on the LaForge is kind of a plus for me because it's fun, although it's a little nerve-wracking. It's kind of like playing Russian roulette, but not with your life, just with a lot of money. So I'll show you here how I've done this. Again, apologize for my soft image. That's just my video encoder, and I don't know how to fix it, and I apologize. But you can see the positive lead is going to this little pad right here, and the negative is going to this one on the side, and that's just all there is to it. Whenever you plug in the battery, those become energized. So the next thing you're supposed to do is take this ribbon lead out and set the optical assembly aside. But I wonder if you can just lift it out and not have to fuss with that. And I wonder if that's a bad idea. Let's see. Okay, yeah, that's out. I'm just going to leave that and leave the ribbon cable alone for now. And I should be able to just pull this out. And I'm not going to pull on the wires, because that's what a monkey would do. Where's my good screwdriver? Where's my pry-in screwdriver? I don't see it. All right. Let's see if we can use this. Well, that's going to screw things up worse than if I just use my fingernail. I see that. It's not going to come out without taking this board off first. I see. Okay. There's not really going to be room to take that out unless I take this board off first. I have watched a video on how to do this. I've watched a couple videos on how to do this. I can't say as I've memorized all the instructions, and I might. Don't do it. You have to reset the knobs on the bottom. I know. You just push the knobs all the way in, and you push the lenses all the way in, and then you're good, right? I think so. Well, if I screwed something up, then you'll get to see me fix it. It is fixable. Everything is fixable, right? Okay, now this guy is going to come out. Oh, perfect. See? Now this whole thing can go away. Yeah, there you go. Wonder why everybody doesn't do it that way. There's probably a good reason that I have failed to intuit. Yeah, so, I mean, my understanding for the knobs on the bottom, the IPD knobs, is that when you put it back together, you push the lenses all the way in, and you push the knobs all the way in, and that's how you get them lined back up correctly. I could be wrong, and if I am, then we'll see. So here's the part we're going to be working with, and you can see I've separated this out. The folks on the internet took this ribbon cable out, and I guess I'm not sure why you would do that unless when I go to put it back I find out I've screwed something up, and then I know why you would do that. But I'm just going to take the whole top half and push it aside, and now we got the bottom half, which is the cool part. And here is the main module bay, and here is the accessory bay for the head tracker. So then, the diversity module goes in like this. Dry fit, a very important part of any project like this. And you got to make a little slit right here for the diversity wire to pass through. What is the reacts? I haven't heard the reacts. I haven't heard of that. Yeah, I gotta say, this is really all right. It's really nice. Whether it's LaForge or whether it's any of the others, these are all based on that 5805 open source project. Just the ability to set favorite channels and then step through just the favorite channels, 1, 2, 3, rather than going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the ones you don't want. That alone, I'm not sure that's worth $100, but it might almost be worth $100. So, this seems like really the only major surgery we got to do on this side is just to cut the slit. And what I'm going to do to cut the slit is I've got my soldering iron with this tip, which just seems custom made for this job. And we'll see how that goes. But I'm going to give you guys on the live stream a chance to say, no, don't do it, before I do it. But I'm kind of going to go ahead and do it. And again, just eyeball this. I'm just eyeballing where the slit needs to be. Okay. Here goes nothing. No turning back. Oh, that's the smell of burning plastic, kids. That's the smell of cancer. I'm getting cancer. You're not getting cancer. You're not here. Cancer right now. Custom FPX. You know, I'm glad you mentioned that. The one I ordered from was RHO Lens. RHO Lens. And actually, I should say, I didn't order from them. I said to them, you have a cool product. Can I have one? And I'll review it on my channel. Because that's the prerogative of all the work I put in on the channel, is I can occasionally find something I want and abuse my privilege to get it for free. And so thank you to RHO Lens for sending those. Well, I won't thank them yet until I find out if they're any good. But I knew there was at least one other out there, and I could not find it. And so if it's custom FPX, that's cool. Yeah, the frequency scanner is huge. The frequency scanner, I don't know if I'm going to clean that up or what. I should probably clean that up some. Is it going to fit in? The frequency scanner is great, especially because we had one guy and he didn't know what his dip switch configuration was. He had no idea what band he was on. He had no idea what channel he was on. And we used, one of our local guys has a LaForge. We used his frequency scanner and it was a freaking lifesaver. Oh yeah, that's real good. That's just fine. I don't know how, can't see that super well, but that's just fine. That looks good. And I like the fact that when you melt like this, you get a rounded soft edge, so there's no need for filing, or you don't have to worry about it cutting anything. That's why I like to melt. There's no shavings going everywhere like you get with grinding with a Dremel. I prefer to melt plastic when I can, when it makes sense. I think it has real advantages. I'm going to clean this up a little just for aesthetics though. This is the side you can see from the outside if you don't have the cover on. So I'm just going to clean it up a smidge. Okay, there's my slit right there. Yep, you can grind up an old pair of glasses. The problem with that for me is that all my prescriptions are so old. My prescription changes pretty regularly. I'm getting old. So I can't really do that because my old prescriptions are so old they're no good. This one will probably be no good pretty soon. The RHO lens was about 70 bucks. Would be about 70 bucks retail. How much is the custom FPX? I'll wait for that to get through the chat before you answer. All right, so that's good. That was easy. So then the next step, it seems like this is going way too easily. The next step would be to glue down the wire, right? And then this is going to get inserted back in. Is that the ribbon cable they take off? Let me think about this for a minute. And again, I apologize if I go slow, but first and foremost, my goal here is to not screw this up, and entertaining y'all is second. And this is literally the first time I've done this, and probably the only time, so I want to get it right. Yeah, I apologize again for the blurry video. It is not focus in the camera. I'm using, because I don't have just like a good quality camera that I can hook up to my streaming software, I'm using my phone as a webcam. And the phone camera is obviously fantastic, but the webcam software is sending a really soft image, and there's nothing I can do about that. So, you know, I won't use it again, but for tonight, it's what I'm using, and I apologize for that. Light leaking? I don't know about that. I'll have to figure that out. I'm hoping that if I mod the stock doors rather than using 3D printed doors, I can keep light leakage to a minimum. We'll see about that. I know that the next thing I need to do is I need to hot glue or tape this wire down. And then I believe that then you reassemble and you install the module. But when I reassemble, this is going to need to go in place. And that's going to need to be plugged in. So I can't have the wire glued down yet in order to make sure that I can plug that in and reinstall that board. So I think I'm going to tape the wire for now rather than glue it, like hot glue or something, and just see what I can come up with. I wonder if I can give myself just a little slack here to be able to work with it. Yeah, I certainly don't want you guys to have to sit here while my hot glue gun gets hot, which would take forever. So let's see, what can I use for tape? I should probably use hot glue. I'm going to start the hot glue gun heating up, and I'll just use tape temporarily for now. piece of open cell foam in the sides. What do you mean by that? To hold the wires down? Does LaForge put noise into the DVR? I haven't tested that, but I haven't noticed it. So did you just stick some foam in here? Is that what you're saying? That's interesting. To hold the wire down. That's interesting. So then the module goes like so. And the foam goes, interesting. Well, anyway. Oh, foam for the light leaks. Gotcha. Oh, I thought you were really onto something there. I really think hot glue is going to be... I'm not sure I can really get a piece of tape well on here. Do I have enough clearance with the module to... No, there's really no clearance on the front. The wire has to go down in the bottom here. It has to. And it just doesn't seem like there's a lot of room for tape. Maybe there. Maybe if I cut this in half. Yeah. Well, I guess the problem is that then we have to sit here for 10 minutes while my hot glue gun heats up. And that doesn't seem ideal. Let me see if I can temporarily tape this down for now. And we'll come back to it with a little bit of hot glue once we're sure what we're doing. Yeah, that'll do for now. So then, really seems like if you knew what you're doing, you could do this with a lot less disassembly if you really wanted to. Yeah, no problem, Chai-Stai. I'm always up for an opportunity to entertain you guys and grab some views. And I thought if I do destroy them somehow, won't it have been entertaining to have that on record? You know? So then, okay, so then this is going to go here. Okay. This is going to go back in here. Maybe this should be first. Can it? No, because of this thing. That's the problem. Okay, hang on. That can go in last, perhaps. Oh, and I need to tape that, too. Oh, I don't forget that. Yeah. I can't go back in. That needs to get taped. So let's do that while we wait for the hot glue gun to heat up. This needs to get taped, or better yet, painted with liquid electrical tape because you don't want it shorting out. I'm going to cover it with a bit of silicone tape. Because, I don't know, silicone tape is sexy. I should just use electrical tape. I don't need to use silicone tape. It's so overkill. Come out of there, you little bugger. There we go. Got it. can't cover the screw hole. That seems good. Oh yeah, that seems super effective. I don't think there's any way to install this in a Fast Shark teleporter because the teleporter doesn't have the module bay. It's only the, doggone it, it's only the Attitude V3, the Dominator V2, that generation of headsets that has the module bay. I've covered up the freaking, oh yeah, I can't cover that up either. Hang on. This is why liquid electrical tape would have really been the right thing to do. But since I don't have any of that, I'm going to just bodge it all up. Maybe if I just cover the module, it'll be fine. Wouldn't that be fine? Yeah, maybe that's what I'll do. Let's try that. Let's do it that way. Alright, so I'm not going to tape this board. I'm just going to tape the module because if one of the two things is covered, then it can't short out, right? That makes a lot of sense. All right. So then, the knobs are going to go toward the center. The lenses are going to go toward the center, all the way in. Okay, that should be good. That'll go in there. Being super careful not to screw anything up. And then that will go in there. And then that will go in there. Oh yeah, that seems good. Oh, that seems real good. And I smell my hot glue gun heating up. Yeah, the diversity module can short against this board if you don't have any tape. It's just a precaution. The best thing to do is to put some liquid electrical tape on, but I don't have any. As for the tape right here, it's because I'm waiting for my hot glue gun to heat up, but the hot glue gun is hot. So, this is, by the way, this is how I do this. I just dick around a lot, but if you dick around slowly and carefully, eventually you figure out how things need to be. And I think that's how you learn things. And I've elected to dick around on the internet now, which is maybe not the most entertaining, but you guys get to see how the sausage is really made. It's one thing to watch somebody do this who knows how they're doing it. It's another thing to watch somebody sort of klutz it out. Potentially more entertaining, but also potentially more boring. So, that's actually all super in place. Oh, that wasn't good. Yeah, don't do that, folks. I'm trying not to pull on this cable here too much. You think just some hot glue on the center is the right choice, huh? No, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to hold that till it dries. What am I doing wrong with the flat cable? What am I screwing up? Tell me. So RC Addict, you're saying the pinout is the same on the older goggles, just the shape of the connector is not the same or something. Or the location of the connector. Okay. Okay, that seems all fine. Don't flex the cable so much. Alright, I'll do my best. I'm kind of not flexing it on purpose, but I'll try to flex it less. That seems correct. Let's get this back in. Okay. Let's untangle that and let's carefully bring that together. And let's see how we've done. I'm eyeballing that the ribbon cables are not crimped or anything. Yeah, that's tricky. Have you got no sound? I don't know. Are the... I want this on the... There we go. That's all fine there. That's gonna be fine there. Let's get this over here. Okay. I don't see anything that is going to get damaged, so let's try to fit it back together. That's clearly not all the way in. Is it? Is that all the way in? Maybe it is. I don't think that's all the way in. I don't see how it would go in anymore. Oh, there we go. Should have taken a picture while it was still together. Correct, correct, correct. All correct. Looking good. I wonder if I can test the... Before I snap it together, I wonder if I can test that the lenses are correct. I think that's right. Yeah. That all looks right. Okay, here goes nothing. Well, I just breathed. It's back together. Okay, that seems... No, that's not quite... Isn't that right? Well, I'll know when I put them back on if I messed up the IPD, because I always have to have them at the most innermost setting in order for it to work. I don't see anything pinched. Looks good. Okay, so now we'll do the most basic of continuity test. I put my IPD back in. Plug in the black cable. I did plug in the black cable. Do you think I didn't? No, I did. The black cable is plugged in. And I'm ready to power up. So I'm going to do... I always do this test whenever I've been working on anything. It's usually unnecessary, but it's good to check. And we'll check. Where am I going to get ground from? Jeez, I don't know. Fuck. Maybe here. Oh, so awkward. Okay, no continuity. Good. Yeah, thanks. I know how to do a continuity test, doofus. I just wasn't sure where I was going to get positive and negative from. Duh. Okay, moment of truth. If I were really clever, I would use a current limited power supply. I don't have one of those handy. Here goes. And all seems good. Of course, I shouldn't have put it back together before I did the mod for the diversity module. Derp. But I wasn't thinking. I gotta take it apart again. That's why I didn't put the screws back in. I gotta do the mod for the diversity module, but I guess it makes sense that I can kind of see how it fits in. So that's gonna get shoved back in there. And then the diversity module is going to plug in. Like so. And then it's going to sit how? So I see what the guys were talking about. So the issue is, if you really want to do this right, I think you got to remove this guy here. Is that it? No, because there's a connector right behind there. What is it that you remove to get this to sit right? I never quite could figure that out. Is that it? Is it just sort of stick in there? I guess maybe. Well, that seems about right, but it's kind of sticking out here. Maybe the door covers that up. Cut the angle part. Cut here? No, that doesn't seem right. There's a connector right behind there. It doesn't seem like I could cut that away. Yeah, you say that. I might be pausing here. Cut the angle part. Then where does this connector go? Yeah, I think so. I think just some like double sticky tape here and we're good. I think so. Yeah, I think we've done it, folks. A little bit of sticky tape there, but that's nothing to be too impressed with. And we've basically done it. Now I don't have the doors. I don't have 3D doors. Like I said, I'm going to be testing Furious, True D Diversity, various any other modules I can get my hand. I'd love to get my hand on 2 pineapples, except they're always out of stock. Maybe even the $60 Banggood module. I don't know. But I'm going to be testing various things, so I'm not going to finalize the install until I'm done with the testing. But for now, it seems like this is done. Yeah, I think this is just going to fit in right here. I heard from some people that the V2 diversity module was a little different and fit a little better. They had to do more modification for the V1. I don't know. It does seem like it's sitting about right. It looks like this is in the way, but you can't see this very easily because etc. But right here, there's a connector that this black wire goes to, and there's no room to shave this away without getting in the way of it. So I'm going to say no on that. Yeah, I see. You're right that I'm going to have light leakage without the doors on. That's a good point. I'll just have to figure out what to do about that. But for now, I'm going to test them without the doors. So there you go. This metal backing here. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I don't like the idea of taping it on there. I'm going to have to figure out what the best way to do that is. But I don't think I have a good answer. And I don't think I want to do permanent modification of the goggles yet until I know which module I'm going to be sticking with. Certainly this is an argument in favor of the True D diversity, which only goes into the main module bay and doesn't require any, I mean, even if the modification I did is within your abilities, finding a good way to mount this is a little tricky. It seems like the 3D printed doors, if they sort of hold it better, that would be a great way to go. Yep, I will not forget to calibrate the RSSI. Definitely not. I could always just, yeah, I could always just take some tape, some duct tape or something temporarily, and just stick it over there, and that'll fix the light leakage for sure. I'm really psyched about this, though. I've gotten to fly with the LaForge just a little bit, and the functionality it brings just for finding your channels you want and getting on the channels, such a simple thing, and yet so hard to get right. And if the function, I'll be really interested to see the different functionality of the other modules like the True D or whatever else, because it's one thing to test the receive sensitivity and how good they are as a receiver, how good the diversity works, but just the basic interface that makes selecting channels and managing channels is certainly also a big important part of it. So for now, I think, yeah, True D, 10 seconds and done. The downside I said I could see of True D is that with the modules in one place, number one, you got to have a kind of a weird adapter to get the both of the antennas on, which okay. And I know some people use that thick coax, the stiff coax, but I hate the idea of having the antenna sticking out on a piece of coax like a freaking alien stalk. I don't like that, so forget that. But so you get a little 45-degree right angle or something. The other thing is that with both of them stuck in there, I've heard it gets super hot. whereas with them spread out like this, the heat is a little bit spread out. I don't know about that. That's very interesting to think about. The other thing I don't know about is I want to figure out what the differences are in the firmware. UBAD makes a big deal out of the fact that they've taken this firmware and they've enhanced it past what the basic open source project did. They've continued to update it, and now their updates are, I think they're no longer open source, although I don't know what the sort of implications of that are. But yeah, so there are some arguments there that UBAD may have better software. I don't know. That's interesting. 3D model where you have a servo for the antenna, so even as you move your head, the freaking antenna stays right. That's cute. The module I was using before was the basic NextWave module, and I will be testing the NextWave module just as a baseline. Yeah, this shield here is held on. It's soldered on, of course, but it can get pulled off really easily. You want to be really careful about using like foam tape to stick this anywhere. It can really come off pretty easily. I am going to try the other modules regardless, Rodrigo. These guys are sending me the modules with the intent that I'm going to test them, and I'm going to test the heck out of them and see, you know, where the pros and cons of each of them are. So I'm definitely going to be testing all of them. I'm just installing the LaForge right now because it was the first one. The other ones just haven't got to me yet. So I'm like, well, it's not like I'm going to sit there and wait to find out. You know, I'm going to start using it, right? Obviously. Reality Check says NextWave is the best. These are overrated. Well, that's a very interesting proposition. We'll have to see about that. Yeah, I've heard that there are quality issues with the Banggood ones. So it may be that the Banggood ones are just as good in terms of their RF performance, although possibly they're not, and their quality is just not as good. Yeah, and I have to agree with you. You say I don't think the reception is worth $80, but the channel scan is worth $1,000, and there's something to that. The ability to step through, like I love the ability to step through the channels by frequency rather than by band. So if somebody is on a certain channel, you don't have to go, well, what band is it? And then you have to switch to the right band, and then you have to step to their frequency. You can just go up through the frequencies in sequential order, regardless of band, and find what channel they're on, and be done. So, all right, folks. I think it's been about an hour of live streaming. I have to tell you, it was a lot of sort of careful fiddling around and going very slowly. And in the end, it's all back together, and I seem not to have broken anything. I'm going to figure out how to do this, but I don't have a ready answer right now. I want to do a little more research, and I think I'm just going to hold off on that one for the time being. I might just stick a piece. I got to tape this so it doesn't short out, by the way. But I might just stick a piece of tape over it and hold it in place until I'm done with the testing. We'll have to see. But that's going to do it for now. TBS module. Oh, yeah. TBS has one, doesn't it? I don't know about that. Lemon is the best, huh? Interesting. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Look forward to the testing. It'll be a while before the testing is done because I don't have all the hardware yet for the testing. And I hope to do some pretty extensive testing because it's a very interesting question. But look forward to that in the next month or so on my channel. And I'm going to sign off for now. And thanks for watching. Hope it was entertaining.